Howdy doodle, everybody. How's it going? I just woke up. It is early Saturday morning, and we are doing another makeup video for Valentine's Day. This one is for my ladies who don't want to go the pink route, probably a little bit more punky or gothy, not too much, just a little bit more of an edge for Valentine's Day, especially if you're like going to a club. And like I said, this is for the girls that don't want pinks. We're gonna play with, I think, I want to do 2 looks for you, 1 on each eye, but I don't know if I can do that. I do have shit to do today. I'll try to stick another makeup video on here tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll get to it where I play with some reds and grays. But today I think we're going to do purple and black, to be honest, and white. So let's start prepping the face, shall we? The blizzard finally ended. I didn't actually even go to get my dog last night because it was just, first of all, I was stuck. It took me forever to get out, and I just literally ran to the grocery store, and that was it. It was so bad. So, storm is over, and I can go get hopefully my packages and see my baby today. Hopefully. It's going to be a little weird. I'm showing up full-blown makeup to walk my dog, but that's okay. We're on the fly today. I'm going to try to get some readings out today as well at some point. I don't know how long I'll have the house to myself. I might be back in my car. It is quite cold today. It's only in the teens, so I can only walk my dog for so long today. I have seat warmers in my car, so I put her in my car and we have warm-up moments, and then we get back out and we run some more, and then we jump in and we warm up. I want to get my headband. I'm not going too high up today because I will be wearing a hat. I just don't want to waste the makeup. No one's going to see it up there today. Saving a little time. Plus, I don't want, that's my new headband. I haven't even worn it anywhere yet. The little black lacy one. And I have a leopard one under it too. Just trying to get my mop out of I literally just woke up. I haven't done nothing yet either. You're getting ready with me again today. Only this time I was a little bit smart. I hopped in the shower today to wash my body, and I washed my hair last night. So, a little more prepared today. Yesterday was just kind of it's my first day off. So, fuck it. I had such a long week. Such a rough week with my machine. And Roberta, we're fighting every day. My machine, I call it Roberta. Mercury retrograde, full fucking swing, man. I don't know how else to describe the unnecessary things that was happening. Anyway, so I stayed up all night working on my book. Well, my TV series / book. I don't know what it is right now. Am I writing a series? Am I writing a book? I think it's more of a series because I keep doing episode 1 instead of chapter 1. But I'm writing it like a chapter, so I'm like a little confused. I'm confusing myself. So either way, this is still a first draft because I'm taking stuff out, adding stuff. I was playing. I started back at the beginning. How am I going to explain this on the show? Because, 10 years had passed since the end of the world, and there's only so many people left in the world. How am I going to explain everything that happened in the first episode? I mean, obviously, can't explain everything in the first episode, but you got to get a gist of what the fuck is going on, or people are just going to be confused. So I'm playing with how to do that. How to tell the backstory. How is Brenna, my main character, gonna let everybody know what's going on and how they arrived to where they are in the story. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about today, just a tiny bit. Not enough where anyone can steal it. I'm not going to give any names. I'm just going to overall generalize it. let me know what you think about the story, because I need a little feedback. Sometimes I wish that I worked for, because sometimes when people are writing stuff, they do those workshops and they put people in a room and they tell them the story plot and tell them what's going on. Is it hard to follow? Is it something that sounds interesting to you? Because they have money to do that. I would love to just put people in a room and pick their brains about just the beginning part of how I'm going to explain. Is it too confusing? Am I making it too complicated? I wish I could do a workshop for that, but I can't. So, here's my workshop, guys. If you could. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you, but I would appreciate it. But 1 second, because I forgot something. Sorry, I needed a drink. My throat was parched. I'm like, I woke up, I never got to drink my throat. If you've ever woke up like that, especially in the winter, it's just dry as balls and your throat is dry. That's me today. I don't know what's going on. Blizzard weather. Anyway. By the way, I put this on my hand. I don't know if I showed you that last time. People have fancy tools. I just use my hand. Look it. Who got time for that shit? Not me. I'm busy. Anyway, let's talk about this story. So what did I tell you last time? I told you there was 4 phases to the end of the world, and we talked about one, which was the beginning phase, which is kind of like a severe case of COVID. Obviously, what's going on in the world, so it's relevant. People will relate to the first phase anyway. And anyway, like I said, there's a couple reasons why I'm using my mirror. It's just easier for me to see. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. So the other phases are going to be explained. It's not going to be hard to follow. It's not super complicated. It's not totally far-fetched. A little bit with phase 3, because that's when we get into the more extraterrestrial type of things. And again, these are all theories, because as people were dying, the scientists and doctors were dying too. So it's like everybody kind of has different information depending on where they are in the world, which comes into the story. It's going to evolve as the characters learn more and more about what's going on, and what's happening, and what truly started all of this. The audience will learn with them. But there is some general, things that people do know, because the world, which I call radio silent, happened in phase 3. So from phase 1 to 3, there was still like the news and media and like the World Wide Web, you know what I mean? So they had information about what was going on. And then, as it happens when a lot of people die, there's no one to run the world. The internet gets shut down. The power grid shut down. Remember, this is 10 years after all of this has already happened. So, like I said, these people are highly evolved. They grow their own food. They keep their own animals. They hunt. They fish. They make things. But they also scavenge, because the world didn't, a lot of the world got destroyed in some of the natural disasters. So it's not like everything is available still. But they can still stumble on places that will have, like, clothing. And 10 years later, it's not going to be in the best condition depending on the circumstances. So there still is like salvage teams and stuff, so they are still out and about scouting for things when they need to, but they make their own medicine. Doctors, there isn't a lot of doctors. We've kind of in this storyline had to resort to like shaman, natural healing. They have to make their own medicines. All the antibiotics that they can make isn't always available to people. So, and like I said, some of the colonies are far away, but they come to trade mostly by boats. And I haven't decided, but I think I'm going to keep a railway open, because there would be ways that people could figure out how to convert and use the things around them and not just let them go to waste. So I'm trying to think of some creative ways that they reinvent ways to use transportation and not just like horses. Will cars survive if mechanics can keep them going? Is there enough? These are questions that I'm figuring out as I go. But anyway, so my foundation is done. Before I do this, I didn't really want to do a bunch of contouring, but I got some feedback. You guys want some more of that? So I'm going to use a bigger brush. I'm going to go a bit darker today just to show you how to do it. Again, you want to just line the natural line of your face. I'm using this one because this one's too dark for me, but if you have a darker, outside of summer anyway, when I don't have a tan and I'm this Snow White, if you have a darker complexion, use the darker, this one, to line the outline of your face. Get your chin, natural line, just accentuate your own face. Then I take my blotter, make sure it's blotted into my foundation. This gives you a nice line, accentuates your face. Again, this is more for lighting, like the sunlight when you go outside. This is what I'm gearing towards instead of stage lighting. This lighter one, I highlight the sides of my nose, up my brow, cheekies, chin a little bit, tip of my nose. Do this. Look at how the light plays on your face. I know the light's so shitty in here, but I can see it. It's shining in the right places I want to. I really am focusing this Valentine's Day on being shiny. I'm into glitter and shine this year. So I'm switching from my regular couture kit to my shimmery rose-colored one. I know I said this, there's no pink in this, but this is just blush. You don't have to do blush. I'm using this one. Again, you can get LA Colors blush and highlight kit. I think it's like $3 at Dollar General and Walmart. I do talk more about the products I'm using in yesterday's video, the pink makeup version. If you want to know what I'm using and where to get it, I don't want to get into it a second time too much, but a lot of these products are all from LA Colors, Wet n Wild, and they're majority found at Dollar General and or Walmart. So if you can't find them at Walmart, go to Dollar General. They are a little bit cheaper at Dollar General than Walmart. I'm putting extra blush on because we just had a blizzard and I'm going for the snow angel look today. Trying to think of how to start this. I was going to do gray and purple, but I want to do some red in this. So we're going to get a little more I'm pop flying this today. We'll see how it comes out. But I'm going to do my crease first and put some red in it. Yep, bold and gothy today. A little bit gothy. Cupid's version of goth. Red and purple, but in a good way. I'm going to blend this all nice. It's going to be three-toned like yesterday's, just not as girly as a color. I hope red isn't too girly for you. I don't think it is. Again, get yourself a nice eyeshadow brush. It's easier to do the crease with a nice brush. And again, I do this every day, so I'm going faster. Take your time with it. You'll get there if you're not this fast. I'm just trying to be a little bit quicker for you today. I do have a lot to do today. Anyway, so back to this book I'm talking about. I'm trying to figure out how to explain how at least she survived so long by herself, because like I said, it all began when the main character was 7 years old. And there's 4 phases, so she did lose somebody in every phase. And a lot of people, all the survivors, this is true for all of them, all their friends, people they love, family members. By the time they got to the end of it, there's only so much of the society left, so most people lost everybody. There are some people in the storylines that do have a family member or 2 alive, because if one, is immune to things, or if they were able to survive better than other people, not everybody would lose everyone, So I did make a few family members that stuck together and defeated the odds and try to stay together. And there's some family conflict still, as there would be even in a new world. So it's rare, but there is going to be some people that are related, or at least know each other from the same place. For majority, people are from all over the world. I reworked where everybody wound up, and basically it's like a man-made island. It's going to be revealed that it was a secret project that the government had worked on for several years about a man-made island that was self-sufficient, which means it's run on solar, water, and wind energy, and it's like a giant ship. So the island can actually move, so they can keep it secret from the people. And it's revealed that they were studying all kinds of weird diseases, making weapons on this island, and it's 3 miles long and 3 miles wide. So it's a ginormous man-made floating island. And if, people stumbled upon it and the way on the outside, you can't really see what's going on the inside of the island where people are. It's kind of like the concept of Wonder Woman. How there's that barrier, no one can see their island. They made it look like a deserted island on the outskirts. So if people were to just sail by the island, they're gonna just think like maybe a large mass came up out of the sea, or it's just a natural island that's just out there that maybe somebody hadn't found and put on the map. But really, they just move it around, and they were doing all these secret fucking experiments that they didn't want society to find out about. So when the world went to shit, this is where they started to put like the president and the people that were important and making decisions, and slowly people started finding out about it because it became the headquarters to the world, getting information. It's where all the leading scientists were studying, and they were trying to keep people alive. But of course, it's the apocalypse. So on a man-made island or not, no one is safe. So eventually, this island is where majority of the survivors have congregated, and they move around where they need to on this island to get food, and they meet up with other colonies that stay land-based to trade. So this is where the character is living. By the way, this is just regular white. Yesterday I did a very light pink on the top. Today we're doing red in the crease, white on the top. Very Valentine's Day. Getting a little Cupid. Don't have to do up here if you don't want to. It's just enough shimmer to give some color when you do this. It's not enough to look like Mimi. Okay? So don't worry. Next we're going to do the lid. I'm going to do the corners black. I don't want too much black. I do want this to be more about Valentine's Day. So I'm going to play with some silver now. Again, I'm using LA Colors. This is $1. You can get this at Dollar General. I used the white for the top brow. I used LA Color, which I also got this at Dollar General. I used this beautiful red. I got this one around Christmas time because of the red, green, and blue, and the silver and gold. That was perfect for Christmas, but it's also perfect for Valentine's Day. Using the red in the crease there. Now we're going to use this same little palette. We're going to, oh, my hair's in there, sorry. Sorry if you hear my stomach growling. I didn't eat yet. It's super early. I just wanted to get dressed first and get ready for my day. So we're doing silver on the lid here. Nice and easy. So anyway, we're on this island, right? And people are from all over the world. So a lot of the main characters, not everybody is American. This is a nice blend of people from Asia, England, Africa, America, Canada. This is everybody who's trying to survive. A lot of the survivors either made their way to the island, or they were basically confiscated, which is what happened to my main character, because when she was found, she was only 10 years old. So a lot of the orphaned kids is what I'm calling people like my main character, who lost everybody. They were just trying to be out in the world as kids trying to survive, and adults, stumbled across them and weren't comfortable leaving them in the wild by themselves, or thought they knew better. My character didn't want to go. She was surviving quite nicely on her own. By the time she was found, she was almost 11 and had been, surviving on her own for almost a year. She stayed where her family wound up, which was this cute little ranch with an elderly couple that took her and her family in after a disaster had... Sorry, I'm just going back over the red because I got some gray in it. And they didn't have a place to go, and they needed to grow food, and they didn't know anything about farming. So this is where my main character learned how to survive, and where a lot of her family members that hadn't died before they got there died there and were buried. So to her, it was like her sanctuary where she felt safe. She did end up losing the people that taught her everything, that ended up becoming like grandparents to her. And she reminisces a lot about this place in the story. So from very early on, you kind of know where she came from, and you see how... she fought. She was trying to fight these adults off. She didn't want to go. She got shoved on a ship with people that she didn't know. She had no idea what their intentions are, if they were going to hurt her, if, they just kind of showed up and said, well, you're a kid. You're not staying here. And she didn't have a choice. And so, all right, we're getting into the corners now. This one's fairly easy. Still a bit girly for Valentine's Day, but like I said, more of a goth edge. And I do need to put some purple in here, so I'm going to go over the gray I did. Getting my Berry Kiss back out. We're going to use this purple. This is going to be a purpley, gray-y tint. Not too girly. I didn't want to make it too purple for the people who don't want to go super girly with it. Trying to make this a nice neutral toned for the more for the girls that like it a bit more not so girly girl, but still want to have a Valentine's look. I don't know how to explain it. Not so prissy, I guess. Not that prissy. I'm a prissy person myself. I like pinks, but when I was younger, I didn't like pink so much, so I feel you. I don't have a lot of friends. Oh my god. Throat's dry. 1 second. Oh my god. I need to drink so bad. Sorry about that. I'm cheating on my diet. Got a little dinky ginger ale. I like ginger ale sometimes in the mornings when I don't feel like all that good. It helps my throat, my tummy. So, we're cheating today. I cheat on the weekends, by the way. Sometimes I allowed myself to have a piece of strawberry shortcake yesterday, and it was delicious. Not too much, just a little here and there. Gotta keep some fun in your life. Can't just I won't stick to a diet if I'm not allowed to sometimes have things because my body's like, this is too communist. Well, this is, no. And they rebel in there. So anyway, just to refresh, we got white on top. In the crease we have red, and now the lids are grayish purple. Don't worry, this is going somewhere fun, I promise. I'm going to take this purpley glitter and go over what we just did on the purple, making it a bit darker. Also, if you're in the Red Hat Society, older women, you can use this look to go out. Just use this look and don't go further. Pink, red, and white, those are your colors. So you can just do your line and your mascara and go out with your ladies and you look perfect for your Red Hat Society. My grandma was in that. I miss you, Grandma. And I'm just going to wipe my brush a bit. We're going to do the corners now. And then we're going to get some silver glitter to make this less glittery. Less girly. I'm glamming it up a bit more punky for you guys. I'm wondering, no. We'll do black like I thought. It's like, should I do blue? No, it will clash with these colors. So, same thing. I'm using the black now. This is the best thing. I use this all the time. $1. I use black and white all the time and gray for cat eye, which I will do sometime and show you how to do a true, authentic cat eye. Now, because we're using black in the corner and I did not prep my eye again, I might be fixing a lot because if you have a lot of black excess on your brush, it will pool under here. Let me show you what I mean by prepping my eye. I have a concealer stick and I just brush it on there. So if I do get any messes, I can blend this in and hopefully correct it. Maybe I've done it in enough time to make a difference. I don't always do that. I'm gonna look funny again, sorry, but this one is messy, so I should. Anytime you use black, it can get on your face and fuck up your blush and stuff. Just in nature, because it's so dark and dominating. Right in the corner. The best way to do the corner is like pick how high you want to go up and draw that line first. I don't want to go past here, so then I just fill in. If you get that line first, it's easier. I try to go at an angle and not just straight. I feel like it looks better at an angle than straight on. But play with your eye. Everybody has a different shaped eye, so you gotta find a way that looks good for your face. It might look straight. It might look better to go straight for you guys. It might be better at an angle. This is something you gotta play with your own shape to figure out. As makeup artists come and do your makeup, they do it based on your natural lines. So you have to base your makeup despite what you see on your natural eye. What's gonna look good for your shape, just like all other accessories. Not everything is for everybody. So again, I'm going to draw my line where I don't want to go past, and then I just try to stay in the lines and do the corners. Corners take a bit of work, and don't feel bad if you, like, see, I got under my eye. I really want to get in good with this black, and if you have a little bit of like crow's feet around your eye, it's going to be hard to get this black color in. So sometimes you have to go a little bit off your eye, but like me, if you have your little handy dandy makeup wipe, I'll show you how to fix it. Sometimes you got to make a little bit of mess to make sure the colors blend right. Make sure it gets in all the creases of your natural skin so you don't end up having holes in your makeup. Don't worry, I am going to make this more pretty. This is just getting the base colors that are not so girly. This will be a better for like a clubby, more night look. You could still wear this with a sexy purple or red dress or a black dress if you're doing that. Pants too, doesn't matter. I don't think I'm dressing up for I don't have any Valentine's Day plans other than to go squeeze my niece and nephew because they're the loves of my life this year. And my dog. Alright, so I'm going to clean this up a bit since the rest will just be shimmery. I don't have any more bold colors. My red and black mixed and it came out too far, so take your makeup wipe and get that corner nice clean and cut. Don't worry about wiping stuff off, we can fix it. Make that corner sharp the way you want it, and then we'll redo the white and we'll redo the foundation a little bit in this part that I wiped. This is how you get perfection. You gotta line it up to your natural eye, and you can't always do that with a brush, so corrections are needed. And if done carefully, no one's gonna know when you're finished. And all your lines will line up to your face. Like I said, I'm not a professional makeup artist. This is just how I do my makeup. Fill in where I corrected with this concealer, and then I'm gonna put foundation back on it. Put a little more on if you need to. Concealer fixes everything. I love it. Just make sure you blend it in quite nice. Got black on my nose. What? Okay, so just make sure your corners are as bright as each other, which this one is darker than this one, so now I gotta fix that. Make sure they're pretty much even, like you didn't go too far up one, because that will look silly in the end. So even though I just fixed it, I might have to fix it again. I'm really pale. It's hard for me to use black on my face without having to fix a lot. You might not have that problem if you're not as pale as me. Cleaning up my line here, making sure it's straight. Takes time. Slow and steady. Comparing and contrasting. They're not going to be 100% matched all the time, but just do your best. People are looking at you a quick glance, so they're not studying your eyes up close. So it doesn't have to be 100% spot on. Just make sure it looks pretty even. To me, I feel like it was pretty even. So again, I have to make sure my excess is off. Just a little this time. Now let's refoundation a tad. I'm just going to do one little drop and spread it between my two eyes. Just so it's back to the same color and nothing is missing from what you fixed other than the top white part, which I will do next. Ooh. I'll go back to the story in a second. It's just trying to concentrate. trying to stay off my blush that I already did. But that's also another way to clean up. Make sure you didn't go too high up on your cheekbones. My nose is still pink. I'm having a little bit of a cold. It's alright, what can you do? That time of year. At least it's not COVID again. I might cry if I get that back. It was the worst. Okay, so what we got going on? We need to do the white. Make sure you get all the black off your brush. Let's touch up this white up here that I wiped off a bit. Oh, there goes my, oh no, stomach gurgling. It was like no food right now. I just fucked up. Still had black on my brush. Well, as you can tell, folks, sometimes I mess up. Sometimes my makeup takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it's a little more complicated. Especially when I'm using black. Where was I telling you about this story? So she bounces back to her life and how she was learning. She learned a lot in a very short amount of time, as life was for everybody. Like, there's no more food. What are we going to do? And these people they stumbled across had been pretty much, living off the land majority of their life. So they had like septic pumps and like ways to survive off grid, which there are a lot of people in this world that do live like that, like doomsday preppers types of people, and that's kind of who this couple was. It wasn't like they were like full of weapons and like had underground bunkers, but they learned how to can food. They learned they built their property 100% self-sufficient in the middle of nowhere. They weren't people who trusted a lot of people, but they weren't unkind either. So a lot of what this character Brenna knows actually comes from this elderly couple. Because she was a child, they thought she was going to be the only survivor, and turns out they were right. And they wanted to make sure that Brenna could survive on her own. So they taught her everything, how to work everything on the property and keep it sustainable, how to feed the animals, help them give birth. Like, I think she overall spent about 2 years with these people before, they ended up dying. They did hold out a lot longer than others because they were away from civilization. They weren't around other people who were sick. They were in areas where, people weren't coming to scavenge. If you stumbled across this, you were in a pretty desperate situation, which her family was when they found this place. They were trying to live in the woods. They figured it was best to get away from people. They didn't have a place to go, so they were trying to live in the woods, and then it got cold, and, So it was lucky for them to find this place. That's why most people didn't end up finding it, and she was... it took so long for her to get captured and put on the ship and sent to this kooky island. So anyway, this is where the other main characters are introduced. A lot of the main characters came to this island as children and are now, gearing towards 17, 18. Some of them are like 13, 14. So they rounded up all these kids because, like I said, they were noticing the kids were surviving at a better rate than everybody else, and now it was becoming about saving the human race. So kids are the future, yada shmada, which is typical in a lot of storylines because it's the truth. Like, we can't have a future without procreating. So anyway, they gather up all the surviving kids that they find in the world, and they bring them to this island, and they teach them until age 12. They're pretty much as normal as it can be as far as you go to class. They do have to work long hours like adults, so they go to school. Then they kind of have like a job, but everybody does because everybody needs to work to keep this island afloat and, keep making food. I'm looking for my glitter, by the way, if you hear me digging for something. So everybody has a role to play, but that's just because, survival depends on the people around you and what you have. So these kids aren't like normal kids. They grow up a lot faster. There's a lot of pressure put on these kids. They're the hope that humanity's going to survive. So, granted, Brenna comes to this island when she's about 10 years old, and in the beginning of the story, she's 17. So she's been on this island type of life for 7 years. So she knows the drill. She is pretty much top of her class. She came to this island, survived. By the way, I'm putting silver glitter on the purple part. So she comes to this island, and because of who taught her and how much she knew, she actually knew how to survive better than most adults at 10. So when Brenna comes to this island, they're very impressed by her. She ends up teaching them things that help the island stay sustainable, because remember, her cabin was built by people who were off-grid. She knew how to build solar panels. She knew how to keep them functioning. She knew how to take care of windmills and water wheels and like all the ways they got power, how they made their own pretty much little power station to keep their... Like, she took what she learned and did on the cabin and built it into this full-scale system, and really took the time to understand the system in place. Brenna is like one of the few people that knows how to run the machine that keeps like the electricity going on the island, the water filtrated. Like this island can't function without Brenna. She's in an important role, but that's not her main job, surprisingly. You're going to find a lot of people on this island kind of do an array of things as it would happen as survivors come. They have to assess people's skills. A lot of these kids were children when they came here and didn't really know anything. So they did have teachers, like I said, till age 12. It was mostly about making sure they could read and write and were smart enough to survive. Trying to think about what to do next to lighten this black up a little. Made the purple pop all nice, not too girly because it's silver, but I need something for this black here to make it more Valentine's and less goth. So as I dig, this is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm just going to play for a second and see if I like it. So, her main job on the island is more geared towards making medicine and growing the plants and items she needs to make medicine. Just like most other things, I'm putting a little, like a rusty red glitter on top of this for a minute. It's like a little vampire-y. So she's learning how to make medicine and doing a good job. Like other things on this ranch, they taught her how to make medicines from for any ailments that might come up. They taught her first aid, because like I said, these older people that she stumbled across were very like a little bit psychic, very smart and savvy about how things were going to unfold, and they seemed to be right on the money. And because of it, her and her family fared far better than other people for far longer. So Brenna really like really loves these people. I think in a way, as fucked up as it sounds, she kind of remembers them a little bit better than her own family, because now that she's older and taking gold glitter now, I'm going to put it over the black. Just for a little bit of contrast and glitter, but just to make this not so dark. Again, we put red over top. Now we're putting gold. So the red is going to hide the gold and just keep the shimmer, which will clash nicely with the silver shimmer on your lid. Like I said, this is more of a gothy Valentine look for my girls out there that don't like to be girly. It's not going to be for everyone, but neither is the pink one I did yesterday. So we got her making medicine. When there's something that comes up and, you know, the people that do run the machines in the island, the majority can't figure it out, you know, they call on Brenna. So she's valuable. She's noticed by the people in charge. And the people in charge are... There's going to be a few leaders, even in the first season. It's at a very difficult time for this colony. There's always like a power struggle. People get away with a lot more because there's no law and order. Like whoever's in charge of this island definitely seems to always catch some sort of power trip, or there's always someone after them. Like everybody wants power in this world, and they want the control. And so, of course, in the beginning of the story, there's not so nice people that are in charge of the islands that have a very old-fashioned take to how they feel the future of this island is going to go, which is very disturbing for Brenna. So the first time in her life, and the beginning of the story, Brenna is contemplating leaving the island altogether. They graduate each student at 18. So Brenna's 17. This is her last year in her training program. Remember, they only allow them to go to school, like regular school, as much as they could on this island. They do have books, they do have learning supplies, but it's limited. They want all the kids to read and write, so that until 12, that's what you're doing, and then you have like chores after school, or whether it's working in the garden or working in the kitchen, just to help keep the society going. But after 12, you enter a trade, and her trade is medicine making and learning to grow medical plants, because she's basically like the future pharmacist of the island, learning from the person who knows how to make it, who maybe had knowledge of it previously in the world or was learning as they go. So they're kind of like an apprentice. I kind of made it a little bit like they get to pick, but also that they're forced. So everybody knows that there has to be a trade, but there are some people that get to pick, like Brenna, who are valuable and smart and know how to play the field. They're faring better than the kids that are timid and not wolf pack leaders. There's alphas and there's betas and everything, and Brenna is definitely an alpha, and she's very smart. So Brenna knows she's valuable to this community. Torture device again. Do your eyelids. Don't get your eyelids, it hurts. Eyelashes. So Brenna's very smart, and she knows that she's valuable to this community. She made it a point to have the people in charge know that she had skills, but not to become one of their pets. She's very cautious about that. What I mean by their pets or minions. Every leader has like their own crew, like their enforcers, people that are loyal to them. And when the power struggle happens and the battle happens, those are the first people that are attacked. And there's always like mini wars going on, like Julius Caesar moments. There are some people that were killed very suspiciously, but unable to be proven. Because they do still try to have, a court. If somebody commits a crime, they have very serious punishment to keep law and order as much as they can so people aren't just like out here murdering people and raping and doing all these crazy things. So they do have a general code to society. However, the people in charge are very much a part of the patriarchy. This is the part of, society I feel like we always kind of come to where men feel they need to rule everything. I mean, not every man on this island is like this. There are a lot of men that don't appreciate this, and they're seeking to overthrow this because they don't like the direction in which it's going, and they worry about these young girls. But ultimately, in the story of it, it's a bit handmaiden in the fact that they're starting to think about their future, and it's becoming a little bit more of like cult leaders, a little bit of a godlike complex with the leaders in charge. I don't want to go into too much, but they're trying to create a new order, a new set of rules that everybody has to follow that are very old world, that would have made sense in like, I don't know, the 1800s when women married at like 14 and had babies, and it was more of an arranged marriage and women didn't have a choice, and they only kind of had one real role, which was taking care of the house and raising the children, because again, procreation and keeping the human race is kind of what this cult leader like guy is all about. He believes very much that if it's up to them to repopulate, that the people in other colonies aren't going to survive because they don't have the island. He thinks that he's the best of the best, and he believes he speaks directly to the higher power he believes in, which isn't God, because I didn't want to put that in my story, put that on religious people. He kind of made up his own religion. Like a true cult leader, he believes he hears voices and that he knows all. I kind of like based it a little bit on Scientology with Leah Remini and all the things. Like, I was very inspired by what she is feeling to the world, and I made this cult leader a little bit like the Hubbard guy back in the day. So here he is trying to, tell these kids, they're going to graduate and they're going to the girls are going to be selected by the younger guys. They get to choose who they're going to marry, and they're going to have to, pretty much do whatever their husbands say. And this cult leader is also very intimidated by other men, especially if they get attention from women. And he just wants, all the men to look up to him and all the women to lust after him and want him. This person is very fucked. A very good villain in season 1. And it's going to be a majority of the story, starting where he's just starting to go a bit crazy, and by the end of season 1, he's like full-blown fucking crazy, shit hitting the fan. And I think pretty much in every season there's going to be some sort of new villain, whether I don't think necessarily all the villains are going to die, but there's going to be repercussions for what they do. So every season there's going to be like a new threat, a new reason. And I don't want to make this boring, and I don't want to make it predictable, so I'm only talking about season 1. So this is the villain in season 1, and he's really got a strong hold on this island. And as crazy as fucked as he is, in true cult leader fashion, cult leaders are, if you study cults, they're master manipulators. They get people who are broken to really idolize them, and this person in the story is no different. And people are desperate and they're scared and they don't know what their futures are going to be like, and they lost everyone and they don't know where to go from here, and they're scared to leave the island. They don't want to leave a place where it's kind of like the old world in the sense of they have running water and indoor plumbing and some sort of medicine and doctors, and nobody's starving, and they're growing food, and they have animals and meat. As far as other colonies go, this is like the fucking palace. You can't get any luckier of the places to survive in, because a lot of people, are like old world, and they built their houses out of whatever they could find, and they're, you know, hunting and gathering every day, and maybe they can't find food. They don't have doctors. Very small communities of people. Sorry, it's hard to talk and do my eyeliner at the same time, but just small clusters of people trying to survive in some remnants of cities and places. And everybody has their own establishment and their own leader. So, of course, you're going to have this. 1 second. Besides being difficult today. So, you have this guy who not only wants to control the island and all on it and be like a godlike creature, and he also believes he's better than everybody and other colonies, and he wants other colonies to pretty much bow down to him, and he feels like that they owe them things, and that if they don't comply, that he's just going to go in and basically take what is theirs, take any woman they want. Like, yeah, this guy's like a sick, crazy cult leader, like we hear about in these true crime issues. Like, episodes. I've kind of combined the worst people I've studied and created like a mix of all their alter egos. Like, I really truly want you as the viewer to fucking hate this person by the end and have no like sympathy and just want to see him fall. That's what brings people together who watch the show. You have your heroes and you have your villains, and they love to hate those villains and they love to love those heroes. So, I gotta make my villain just as juicy and interesting as my heroes, and I'm really digging into that character and focusing on all the fucked up things that I'm going to have him do to this island of people. And then I have Brenna, who kind of is like this older couple. They taught her how to see ahead and how to avoid danger. It's like they knew how, or they, sorry, sometimes the liquid eyeliner drips down into my eye and I have to get it out. I don't know why it does that. Maybe I put too much on my lid. But, so she called this leader from the get, but what you have to understand about Brenna is she's very smart. So she never voices an opinion that is going to draw her any attention. She also understands the ebb and flow of power. She's seen multiple leaders come up, and she's seen people just kind of disappear and mysteriously die. This is very like mob-esque in how things are run. So she doesn't question things. She draws the least amount of attention to herself. She's just enough of a valuable person that they allow her freedoms, that they aren't just going to kill her off, but they're not going to worry about her either. They don't consider her a threat. So now Brenna in season 1 is at that complex within herself, like, this is really wrong. They're doing really fucked up things to us. People she cares about are in peril. She's in peril. And this is when that morality clause comes up. Is she going to step up and be the hero? Or is she going to slink back and just, be a survivor on her own? Is she going to truly become one of the community and step up and lead? Or is she just going to go off on the world? Because as far as Brenna's concerned, before season 1, she's always just kind of been a loner. She has relationships with people. Obviously, she's a human being. She needs human interaction, but she's 100% independent, more so in a way than anyone. She's very much known as a loner, very quiet. she has a mysterious aura about her. People find her fascinating and curious. I don't know about that girl. Is she a threat? Is she not? This is how people feel about her because she just gives off just enough to be liked and conform in society, but still be left alone at the same time. Like I said, she's very smart in how she does her politics and how she survives, and so you're going to see Brenna in season 1 with all these complexes where she is coming out of this character that just kind of focuses on herself and just is, I need to survive this as long as I can. And I think it's always been her plan to leave the island. I think she very much craves, these characters I'm developing are like real people to me. Like they're real in here, and as I'm writing them, their personalities become real. So I talk to them about them like as they're real people that I'm getting to know, because that's how I'm getting to know them, as I'm writing them and creating them. So getting into these complexes and testing Brenna, and is Brenna gonna be a hero at the end, or is she gonna go off on her own? I still don't know that, and I think a lot of the viewers aren't gonna know which way she's going, and they're gonna be like, who is this girl Brenna, and where does she fit in all of this? Because you have the villain and all their minions and their storylines, and then you have people that the other community members genuinely respect and keep everybody as safe as possible, and they are true, genuine leaders, and that our friends and families, stem off. Lovers are created, people are pregnant. There's all these dramas intermixed in this floating island. So I'm very excited. As I'm writing more, I'm adding stuff and taking stuff out, and I just have no idea where the storyline is going, but I'm so excited about it. At the same time, like, this is the best. I haven't been this lit up and excited about anything, so I'm losing a lot of sleep. I lost a lot of sleep this week about this story, but is it sounding interesting, or is it sounding completely boring? Would you watch the show? Would you read this book? Should I make it just a book and just let people's imaginations create the characters, or should I make a show and give you visual people and a visual storyline to watch every week? Like, as a collective, what do we need more? Books or TV shows? Because I guess, I could do both, but what one do you do first? I guess would be my question. Oh my god, why is my eyeliner? Oh, I sharpened it yesterday. I did a cob job of sharpening it. Now I got black specks on my face. But anyway, what should I do first? TV show or book? I'm still on the fence about that. Like I said, I could do both. This is not a good makeup day. I don't know why my eyeliner flaked like that. Alright, we gotta do the under eye, and we're done with this look. I can start my day. What are we doing under eye? Let's do some purple, because I covered up a lot of the purple with the silver. Let me get my berry kiss back out. Where are you, little brush? I keep going in and out of this storyline. I'm sorry. I'm distracting myself. I still gotta do my hair, and I'm dressed from here up. I'm still in my pajama pants. From the waist down after first getting dressed. Weekends I just do whatever. Fuck it. I don't have a plan. I have a lot of shit to do, and I know it'll get done, but I don't know where I'm starting. And I'm very slow to get ready on the weekends, because all week long, you gotta be work by a certain time. Also, I am of course, with Brenna, she does have a best friend in this story. And it's the very first person she met when she was brought onto the ship and she was taken from that cottage where she wanted to stay and she fought. The ship ride was, this is kind of like Pilgrim Days because it took a long time to sail. The ship that they were on was a very old school like ship because fuel was already, pretty much gone at this point. So they're sailing. They're using wind energy to get places, so it takes a bit longer to travel. So the actual boat ride when she was taken was probably almost a month long, which would give people plenty of time to learn. And on this boat ride was when she also met this crazy leader guy for the first time, and he was just starting to get any kind of leadership. Now remember what I said, Brenna is very, very smart, and she reads people very well. And during this ship ride, throughout the season, you're going to learn about these people that are now in charge and how they rose to power. And you're going to learn about it through Brenna because Brenna is very much a spy. She, on this ship, learned how to climb into things and would listen to conversations. She didn't know where she was going and who these people are that had taken her. And she knew that she needed to find out as much as she could about these people in order to survive. And while she was doing these things, her best friend, who is named Roo, R-O-O, a girl that was taken about the same age as her. Roo is 9 at this point, and Brenna is 10 on the ship. So they're very close in age. Very young girls, both have no family and orphaned. Like Brenna, Roo was surviving with people that had taught her some valuable skills. Rue didn't really know much about growing food, but she's an avid hunter and fisher lady, and she's also very, very much trained in fighting. She's actually from China. She had a pretty rough life before the world went under. Her parents gave her up for adoption, and she lived in a girls' home. I'm adding a little purple above this red just to tie in my line here under my eye. But so in this girls' home, Rue was very bullied. A lot of mean girl situations going on. And she was taken in by a sensei who doubled as the gym teacher at this all-girls school. And he kind of felt bad for her, and he taught her traditional karate and ninjutsu. And I think I'm going to put jujitsu in there too. So basically, Rue is a fucking badass. Expert fighter at the age of 9. She is pretty much... Now, take into consideration that when the world went to shit, this man, the sensei, her and Rue actually left the girls' school, and they survived for a long time on their own, which you're going to learn a little bit about Rue's story. She ended up losing him and being on her own too, but they did survive for several years together, and her situation is a bit sad because you realize as you're learning through Rue's eyes that the man who you assume is a hero is not as kind and sweet and innocent, and it became a little bit of Stockholm mind games and sexual abuse on Rue's part. So Rue is now a teenager like Brenna and is realizing this in the storyline of how she idolized somebody who was ultimately abusing her, and it took her a long time to get to this point. And Brenna understands a lot about Rue. There is a lot that they don't communicate because both Brenna and Rue are not people who sit and tell their minds. They are very private people. They have survived as long as they have by being loners and not trusting the outside world. And because they're similar in that sense, that's what builds this bond. So Brenna is on this ship trying to be a spy, and Rue is very trained herself, and she figures out what Brenna is doing and takes a liking to Brenna. Rue is, although they're very independent and very strong characters in their own right, like if you put Rue in the world and you put Brenna in the world, out of everybody, those two are going to survive. They can be 100% survivable on their own. They don't need human interaction. They're not people that are going to go crazy, you know what I mean? But together, they become a very strong family unit, and they understand each other in a way that no one else can understand because of how their lives formed. And what Brenna understands about Rue is she has a lot of hurt. Brenna's confused because she sensed, they do talk. They open up, and through these 7 years they have talked. They have spent time together. So I think Brenna knows to an extent that something happened between this man Rue was traveling with, and she's sensing it. Rue is angry and has this turmoil, and this anger comes up in Rue, where she gets very angry with men. And now we have this leader who's coming up and being very chauvinistic, and Rue is dealing with the fact that she was sexually abused, not knowing it as a child, and thought it was normal. So she's going through all this stuff, and she's putting all of her hatred and hurt on the leader of the colony. So now you have Brenna, who's trying to keep Rue from being a ninja and killing him in his sleep. You know what I mean? So it gets interesting. I really love the dynamic. I'm loving the fact that the two women are the two main characters in season 1, because I am going to switch it up in season 2. I'm not going to tell you any details whether Brenna and Rue are going to be in it or not, or whether you're getting a completely different colony and then Rue and Brenna come in later. I don't know which way it's going to go, but we're going to be traveling a bit and moving on. And is Rue and Brenna, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that maybe Brenna and Rue might not survive, and we might have completely different main characters, which isn't really done in TV shows. People don't really like that. They get invested in storylines, but if I can get you invested in one season for these two characters, I can do it again with two new characters. Like, I don't know which way it's going. It's like, even to me, as I'm writing this every day, I'm like, oh. It's like, the curves are going to, like, don't get comfy in this show. Don't think you're going to know what's going to happen, because I get so frustrated. I watch shows, and I can see things coming, and it takes me out, and I'm writing it in a way that, for people like me who I think they know what's going on, and then the story's going to do this, and they're going to be like, they're going to like the fact, hopefully, that they aren't seeing what's coming. My whole soul is into this story. I love Brenna so much. Like, she's my own child, and Rue too. Like, I just love these characters, and I love my villain, even though he's crazy, and his little minions, and there's other story characters that I haven't told you about. So you have Rue, you have the main character Brenna, but they also have a boy that came on the ship, and you see his story. There's 3 main people that just, like, the trio that have come. They were collected from places, put on this ship. They bonded on this ship. They all came to the island for the first time, and they've been on that island together for 7 years. You got Devin, Rue, and Brenna. Brenna, it's kind of like the mastermind. Is she a hero? Is she going to... We don't know which way Brenna's going to go. Rue is kind of like the Arya of Game of Thrones. She's a badass warrior who will fuck your day up if she don't like you. And she's got a lot of... I'm kind of like I've combined a lot of the character, like the strong female characters that I really loved in storylines. Um, put some attributes in there. Obviously, I'm not going to make it like the characters because this is a new, fresh story. But to give you a general sense of who Rue is, she's a little bit of Michonne from The Walking Dead, a little bit of Judith from The Walking Dead, and moving on from different show to a different show, she's like Bones. Like she can figure shit out. There's like all those strong female TV show characters, like even Sabrina the Teenage Witch and her quirkiness. I put a little bit into this character, like back in the day shows. Like Rue is probably stronger than Brenna, but Brenna is ruled more by her justice code, and Brenna is ruled more by common sense, and being logistic about things. So you have somebody who's hot-headed and reactive, and somebody who's very smart and plays the long game. But together, that's what makes them such a dynamic duo. And then you have Devin. Devin is a boy who wants to be a girl, and as typical teenagers go, he is experimenting through season 1, stealing females' clothes, and you kind of get his backstory. And this is a story that even Brenna and Rue don't necessarily know. They do catch him in things. They do know that he wants to be a girl, and they are supportive of it. But there's a little. I wanted to tell a story of transgender and how they would make decisions they make and how they would have to adapt in the society in this kind of world, but also make it true to how a transgender has to live in this society too, so people can understand their journey. So through Devin, we're learning about the transgender journey and his longing to be accepted. And remember, this world has kind of gone backwards, and they're believing that men have this role and women have this role. So Devin is even more in a confusing state and feeling even more left out and abandoned by society because the world isn't accepting now all the time of transgender, and now the world has gone backwards and gone to shit, and everybody he knows is dead, and now he can't be a female. So Devin has a lot of pain. And in his story, I feel like people are going to just fall in love with Devin, whether they support transgender or not. Keep in mind, he is a young boy, and you're going on a young boy journey. You're going to fall in love with Rue and Brenna and Devin. By the end of season 1, they're going to be your peeps, because this is the story that these 3 main characters are about. And of course, there's a lot of supporting roles and adults and different friends that they have in the community and people that they consider family that you're going to grow to love too. You might even like the villains. Maybe you're rooting for the villain. I just feel like nobody's ever seen a story like this. It's going to get so crazy, but in a good way. And please let me know if you want to hear more about this, if this is something you would watch or a book you would read, what I should do first. I mean, ultimately, I'm going to decide make my own decision, but you are the people that could possibly be the viewers of the show or the people reading the book. What do you think? Let me know. I want to hear your thoughts, and I'm so happy to share the stuff with you, but I am keeping it a bit I'm not going to talk too much more about it. Maybe if I do another makeup video, I might tell you a little bit more. And this could all change because, like I said, I'm writing this now. So some of the stuff I talk about, I might take out of the fucking story, and you're going to be like, "What? Where is that part?" Like, this is the part of writing that, don't sink your hooks into it, because I don't. This is the first draft, but at the same time, I am looking for feedback. What are things that you wish that you saw in a show? Like, what kind of character do you want represented? What kind of storyline would you sink your teeth into? We as people, I'm a worker every day like you. I go to work and I rely on TV to take my mind off of the stresses of life, and I like to sink into a good story, and I like to sink into a good book. So, and everything's changing and evolving with the world as it is, and you never know how people are going to react. They might not be into the story, they might love it. So, help me if you could. I would appreciate it. I love you all. I hope you like this look. I know you can't really see it. Let's review. We got white on top, red in the crease, purple with silver shimmery glitter on top, black in the corners with some gold and some purple above it, and purple under the eye. You got a lot of shit going on, but I think it looks more it's still Valentine-y, but not as girly. It's more of a punky, not pink look. For my girls out there that didn't want to do the Pinky Brewster look I did, we'll call this Cupid's Kiss, because it's more red, like heart. Yesterday was Pinky Brewster. That's what I'm calling my looks. Hope you liked it. I might knock out another one tomorrow if I get the house to myself. I'll think about another look to do for you. Love and light, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope it's a great day. I will do some readings today at some point, whether they're in my car or here in my room. I will knock out some readings. So, see you soon. Bye. Love you.